Hey guys, what's going on again? It's Jesse from Soulpre, and I want to answer a question about triathlon I see so often. Do I need a tri bike to race? The short answer here is absolutely not. Um, Triathlon is known for being as expensive as you really want it to be. If you want to drop 20 grand on the sport, you absolutely can do that without thinking. But you can also get into the sport without spending $1,000. You can probably get into the sport with spending less than $500. I'm actually going to go through a few of the bikes that I've been on through the years. When I started racing triathlon, I was still in college, so I didn't have a lot of money. I made a little bit of money from the job I had on campus, but I was running on scholarship, so I didn't really have a lot of time to have a part-time job. So I actually picked up this bike, and if I remember correctly, I paid, I think, $500 for the bike, which was a bit more than the average person might spend, but because I'm pretty serious about endurance sports, I was okay spending $500 of the maybe 2 grand I made a semester working my job. Now, you can actually do it on any bike. It's going to be a tough row to hoe, as my father might say. He grew up on a farm, but you can use a mountain bike. I've seen people out doing the sprint distance on a mountain bike, and it's a bit crazy. You're gonna definitely put the work in, but if you're just looking to finish and you don't want to spend a bunch of money on a bike, you don't go out and spend several $100s on a bike when you're new to the sport and you're not sure if it's going to be for you. I think you're going to love it. The community is amazing, but you absolutely do not need a tri bike. So I actually have the theory that you should pay for equipment that's commensurate with your skill level, and I lived this. So I had dreams of becoming a pro, but that's another story for another day. And as I progressed in my speed, I got better equipment. So, I showed you that bike I started out as a tri bike, but I was interested in the draft legal version. So I had to find some kind of equipment that would work for me, that would be both draft legal and I could use in the long course non-drafting races, which is the vast majority of amateur races. So I bought this Cannondale. I think it was $1,300 at the time. One of the local bike shops actually helped me out. I raced in their kit for a season and tried to represent the shop. So shout out to them, Cycle City in Parkville, Missouri, if you ever get a chance. Thanks, Joe, for all the help. But I used that and some clip-on aero bars. And I placed well in the age group. I'd win age groups. Sometimes I'd be top 3 overall in the amateur field at some smaller races. And I did well on that bike for, I think, 3 years I raced on that. Before moving on to a more specific tri bike again, I bought a friend of mine's bike used. I actually can't recall what I paid him for that bike. Probably in the $1,000 range, $1,000 to $1,500 if memory serves. It turned out to be a little bit small for me, so I used it for a season and then moved on to my current ride, my Trek, which again, I didn't pay full price because I waited till the models changed over. I think, if memory serves, I moved up to this bike finally. $3,000, $3,500 for it, new bike. But again, I waited for the model change, so I got basically the same model as the year coming out, but for a considerable amount less. And then the equipment that I've added onto it, having race wheels, having power meter in the pedals, having the computer, all that stuff adds up. And my total setup, if I had to replace it, would probably be in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $7,000 if I was buying everything new. So you can go from there and move up. I know I see guys out riding on $15,000 rigs, and they're the top of the line bike that you could possibly buy. It's super easy to spend as much money as you want in this sport, but absolutely not necessary. If you're just getting into it, you want to come out, see what it's like, bring your mountain bike out, do a sprint, see how you feel. If you love it, get on Craigslist. You can find a road bike, the clip-on aero bars, run $50 to $150, depending on whether you're buying used or new. And the sport can be about as inexpensive as you want to make it, or as expensive as you want to make it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as I'll talk more about triathlon and other sports in the future.